Greetings folks, and I hope that the Yuletide celebrations haven't left you in need of a full body swap. And welcome back to the channel for another unboxing and review. And today it's the turn of another Eaglemoss spaceship, and this time it's war. Yep, it's the Sid Mead and James Cameron designed Sulaco from the 1986 masterpiece that is Aliens. And it's fair to say that Mr. Go Figure is now well and truly lodged in the rabbit hole that is Eaglemoss. So, usual format folks, box, spaceship, then showcase at the end. But as always, before we dive in, a huge shout out to everyone who supported Go Figure, and please drop a like on this review and help other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, please mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the new stuff that's coming up on the channel. And you can also bathe in the light of self-satisfaction knowing you've helped an old collector in his dotage. But enough of my validation seeking, onto the box. Let's try and stop this thing from spinning, if I can get my hands underneath this at the opportune moment. And it's pretty much the usual story from Eaglemoss, very similar to the Nostromo box of the ship that we reviewed recently on the channel. It's this magnetically classed high quality cardstock box. On the front you've got this sort of green spatter going along the bottom there, and it says Hero Collector. Picture of the spaceship itself, and at the top it says Aliens and USS Sulaco, with that nebula, that green nebula thing going on in the background. On the sides, Aliens again, USS Sulaco, and a brief description of the ship, and I think that's repeated on the right hand side. Yes, it is. On the top stroke sides, another shot of the model. That same Aliens and Sulaco and description thing going on, and same again on the top, but this time in black. And that's pretty much it for the box, apart from the back. What you've got on the back, usual credits and warnings, obviously 20th Century Studios there, this is a licensed product. Yeah, and all the other bits and pieces as well, with their website and warnings and so on. Don't piss this model off or you might get stuck in the pipe, 5x5. So yeah, brand new piece, this one. Literally just come through the door, gone straight in front of the camera. And as you probably noticed, seals are still intact on this boy. So what we'll do is what we always do. We'll crack those seals open, dive down onto the table and find out what this particular ship is all about. Okay folks, so here she is. It's the Sulaco herself, out of the box, onto the stand, onto the turntable. And first impressions are pretty good. As only my first tentative steps into the Eaglemoss Hero Collector world, I've got to say I am pretty impressed so far, and yeah, this is no exception. The proportions look on point, the sculpt looks very, very accurate, and overall, yeah, a very, very good first impression. But we will do as we always do. We will stop it from spinning and take a close-up look. I would say straight away as well, if you are picking this piece up, super careful when you're actually unboxing it. The antenna array at the front here, it comes in foam packaging, and on this particular one, the antenna array got lodged in the foam packaging there, so I had to be super careful taking it out because these are plastic. Although this is a combination of metal and plastic, which is the usual story with Eaglemoss products. Yeah, these have got a bit caught up on the packaging itself, and they are made of plastic and will very, very easily snap off. So yeah, exercise a bit of caution there. But overall, yeah, I'm quite liking this straight out of the box. So we'll take a quick look at the stand. We'll just put the ship itself to one side. I'll be quite careful with this because there are a lot of delicate parts on this particular piece. Just pop it to one side. We'll have a quick look at the stand. It's the usual Eaglemoss story here. You've got this metal base with this felt pad on the bottom there. There's a little sticker, says Aliens, USS Sulaco on there, and that's pretty much it. This perspex section comes separate. You simply slot it into place there, and then the ship rests, and I will try and demonstrate this on camera. You've got to be super careful with this actually, because you've got the, if the camera's catching this, you've got that and the gun emplacement on the underside of the ship there, and it sort of sits in this gap they're provided with the Perspex. So you just sort of sit it in here very, very carefully, and you've got to make sure, obviously, which I haven't here, is that this thing's pushed all the way in. And this is only my second foray into Eaglemoss's spaceships, and I have noticed this with both the Nosferatu and the and this particular ship, is that you really need to force this clear section into the base itself. You don't want it rocking around or falling off. And there's a bubble there in the in the actual upright section. Don't know whether that's there on purpose or not. Probably just an imperfection in the production process. But yeah, and then you simply slot that gun emplacement into that section there if the camera's catching it, and that's how it rests on the stand. Yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful with this one. You don't want it toppling over. It is quite a long and heavy piece. It's a combination of metal and plastic, as I mentioned before. The whole thing comes in at 13 inches from bow to stern, but we'll take a look at the details. Let's just pop this to one side and try and get in on some of the details here. And as with the Nostromo piece, I think they've done a cracking job on the intricate details. This whole front section of the Sulaco feels metal. It's cold to the touch. Then I think you've got a plastic antenna array attached into the front section there. But yeah, this whole front section here is metal, and then it leads into what is a plastic section, I believe, as well. I think this back section is metal too. This underside section here, this protruding part, and these two sections at the top here are plastic. But yeah, you've got what feels like a complete metal body running the full length, maybe with some plastic sections attached to the metal. Yeah, I think these panels at the end here are plastic, but they've been attached to the full metal body. So pretty much from here to here is complete metal. So it's got some weight to it, this piece, and that's why I would say exercise caution with that stand there. We don't want it toppling over. But yeah, let's have a look at some of the details here. And as with the Nostromo, the paneling is really, really nice. That mosaic paneling. The washers, the paint washers, are really good to give it that dirty and utilitarian look. There's sort of shading and washers and dry brushing going on here to make it look weathered, especially up at the front end here around the antenna array. And those paint applications continue down the antenna array as well, which is really nice to see. But overall, yeah, they've got pretty much all the detailing, as I can see, spot on. There's weathering on the top here. If the light's catching this, you've got what looks like black dry brushing going on, and then grey paint applications. You've got the mosaic panels of the ship itself, but then the paint application is mosaicked as well, and it gives it that sort of intricate, super detailed look, which works really, really well up close and from a distance as well. And that's continued around this side of the ship as well. They've got the gun emplacements absolutely spot on at the sides here, underneath the Sulaco, and on top as well. I would imagine they're plastic. Yeah, they're quite delicate. So once again, exercise caution with this particular piece. Lots of little pieces there that could easily snap off. Your USS Sulaco in black on the front there, would have perhaps been nice to see some weathering around the engine port section. That was included on the Nostromo piece, but they seem to have omitted it here. But overall, yeah, I'm really, really liking this. But now it's time to address the elephant in the room, and it's the first. I knew this was the case. I'd seen pictures of this piece before I ordered it. It's going to be a pet project of mine. The elephant in the room being the paint applications here, the colour, the actual colour of the vessel itself is off to me. Now I'm going to pop this back on the stand so I can bring in some photos at this point. Let's get it back on the stand and get it rotating, and we can talk a little bit more about the paint apps here. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, and I have got some photos here which I'm going to bring in at this point. Now, I know film stocks change, and looking through two screens, and whether you're looking at DVD, whether you're looking at Blu-ray, can all impact how, and memory as well, can, how we perceive something in a film. But having done a little bit of research, and I'm just going to move this ever so slightly to one side so we can get these into shot. Now, what I've got here is actually a still from the film itself. Now, I always thought the Sulaco was darker than this, and it was a darker grey. I have to move that a little bit more or I'm going to catch it and knock it off the turntable. And so I've gone back and had a look at some stills, and this is a still from the actual film itself, from Aliens, and I'm seeing a darker, I'm going to try and get this all into shot here. I'm seeing a darker grey there on the ship itself. Found another shot as well. Now you've got to remember lighting here plays a part. Screen lighting, obviously it's in space, and in space there's very few light sources, so it's difficult to judge. So what I did do was find this particular picture. Now this is a picture of collector Bob Burns, who bought the original model, and this is catching me, so I'm going to move it a little bit further back. A gentleman by the name of Bob Burns. He bought the original model used in Aliens for his collection after it had been painted brown for Alien 3. But Sid Mead kindly repainted the ship in its original Aliens livery, and you can clearly see here that it was definitely blue. There are blue tones going on here, so to me the paint application here is inaccurate, unfortunately, but I knew this before I picked this piece up, and as I say, it's going to be a pet project of mine to actually do a full repaint on this and go for that deeper bluey grey colour. There you have it, folks. That is the Sulaco, courtesy of Eaglemoss. So final thoughts and a score. It's a difficult one, this one, simply because I think what they've done here is they've absolutely nailed on the sculpt. I think the proportions are right, the detailing is absolutely on point. I love the intricate details on something like this. I mean, this is the extra large version, as I mentioned, comes in at sort of 13 inches long. I would dread to see the standard version. That's going to be absolutely tiny. For the scale that they've gone for here, I think they've nailed the details on, they've nailed the screen accuracy. The biggest letdown, though, is going to be the paint applications on this one. I think they could have got that paint right. And as I said, pet project for me to improve it. So it's going to be reflected in the score, unfortunately. I'm going to have to give this one, I'm going to give this a 7.5, maybe an 8 on a good day. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a good starting point for a really, really fantastic miniature Sulaco. Had Eaglemoss got that paint applications right, this would have been nearer a 9 or a 10 for me. Pet project for me in the coming weeks, and if you're wanting to see it repainted, please drop a comment in the comment section below, and also, what's your take on this piece? What's your take on Eaglemoss? What's your take on the movie, on Sid Mead, on James Cameron? Anything at all. Nothing is off menu, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. And what's coming up on the channel? Well, lots more Eaglemoss, I can guarantee you that, so stay tuned for that. But in the action figure world, in the 1/6 scale world, we have stuff from Hot Toys, stuff from Pure Art, stuff from InArt, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Mars Toys, Org Toys, 3.0, the list is endless, so stay tuned for more action figure goodness. And we'll be having more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose, where I pit two figures against each other, and more episodes of Grail or Fail, where we revisit some of the classics in the action figure world and see if they still stand up today. So I suppose all it remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. As always, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.